Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Izzo.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
And that's a perfect way to start our show. Excitement over at Memorial Auditorium yesterday as Concordia's women's basketball team found out they're heading to the NCAA tournament and hosting in the NCAA tournament this week. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hot Mic here on a Tuesday. I saw Kim Wagers, our good friend Kenyon Wingenbach. He's been the whole key to it since leaving Cheyenne and joining that Cobber basketball team as they will host at Memorial Auditorium coming up this weekend. They've kicked out the high school kids who are going to be there for the 6A and 8AA. No, the Cobbers get first rights because they are there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Hot Mic here on this Tuesday, the 3rd day of March 2026. Brought to you by, of course, Northwestern Mutual here on this Tuesday. We got a lot to get to today. Congratulations to the Cobbers, 23-4. They lost in the MIAC championship game, but Kim Wagers told us last week that we feel like we've done enough to warrant an at-large bid. Certainly that's the case, and they are one of just a few teams to actually host in the opening round. So if they win, they got a chance to play at home again coming up on Sunday. So that is a great way to start our Tuesday spectacular as we get ready for a wild basketball week. I mentioned yesterday the amount of tournaments that are going tonight. The EDC basketball tournament begins proper with home sites hosting quarterfinal games. Winners will move on to the Shack. Losers are going there as well for elimination games on Thursday and Friday. Then, of course, it's state qualifier Saturday with the championship games that night. We've got the Class A and B girls tournaments in state beginning in Jamestown and Minot, respectively, on Thursday. The Summit League basketball tournament officially begins tomorrow with the play-in game, so there's no shortage of things for us to talk about here on this Tuesday. We'll get to as much as we can, including you'll hear from Bison men's basketball coach Dave Richman coming up in his usual Tuesday time slot to preview NDSU's trip to Sioux Falls. The previous times that NDSU has gone to Sioux Falls as the 1 seed, 2009, they were the 1 seed. They won it. 2014, they were the 1 seed. They won it. 2020, they were the 1 seed. They went there and won it. That's the backstory that the Bison have. Now, they've won it other times when they were not the 1 seed. 2015, they won it. They were the 2. 2019, they were the 4. They won it that year. But the last few times that we've been down there, the Bison have not been seeded number 1. So that's, I don't know, the pressure that goes with it. I'm sure David's going to say it's something else, but we'll talk with him coming up later on in the program. Also, we've got a return of one of our favorite guests to chat some Gopher women's basketball. We talked about it briefly yesterday, and the new bracketology is out today, so we'll dive into this. Minnesota, if you missed it on Sunday, the NCAA Women's Committee put out its projections for its top 16 seeds. And, of course, in the women's tournament, you remember that the top 16 seeds host. Minnesota was 15th, meaning if the Gophers win at probably at least 1, maybe 2 games in the NCAA tournament, they will certainly move up the seeding line. That is it out of the realm of possibility. Whoever wins the Summit League basketball tournament this week, whether it's North Dakota State or South Dakota State, that they could be going to Williams Arena and facing maybe the Gophers. We'll discuss that with our guy, JG, Justin Gaard, coming up later on in the show. So we're excited about that. Also, we will get our full combine breakdown, too, with one Cole Payton. We're excited about that coming up here in just a few minutes, so with the former Bison QB to start our program. But let's roll from last night in the NSIC basketball tournament. The women's side went chalk, so to speak. Concordia St. Paul, MSU Mankato handled their opponents yesterday. Rick Newman's Mary Marauders lost to unbeaten Mankato. They were within 4 for a bit. Then the Mavericks put the hammer down in the second half. Concordia St. Paul advanced with a win over Minnesota Duluth. So they'll play in the women's championship game coming up at 4:30 today. The men's championship game is set. And how about some representation for northern Minnesota? For years in the NSIC, it's either been Augie, Winona, obviously Mankato's had an unreal run. They won the national championships a couple years ago. The Dragons have had their carve-out. But never before have we had what we have this year at the NSIC basketball tournament between Minnesota Duluth and St. Cloud State. Rise Up Huskies, Sam Getzinger's alma mater, can hoop. The second semifinal featured Augie and Duluth, which Augustana was the high seed coming in, obviously with a home court advantage playing at the Pentagon. But no one gave Duluth the script. Caleb Seawick was great last night. Had 6 points in the second half, 11 for the game to spur on a Duluth rally led by our guy, Justin Wick, former Dragon and assistant, Jamestown head coach. Big-time three there that gave Duluth the lead. This from Noah Paulson, who had 14 points to pace the Bulldogs, who beat Augie 72-62. They're going to the NSIC final. Who are they going to get? St. Cloud State? Question mark? Facing Mankato, and they had all they could do with Malcolm Jones. Double-double for him last night. 20 points and 10 rebounds and 33 minutes of work. Mankato, of course, who won the national championships a couple years ago, had the lead, but no one gave the Huskies the script. Nate Dahl with a drive and the contact. He had 18 points for the Huskies. Nifty passing down low. St. Cloud, not that long ago, our guy Bergstrasser would tell you, it wasn't good. There's a big-time three from Luke Winkle, who had 25 last night, made 10 free throws. The Huskies are going to the NSIC title game, 87-82, as they beat Duluth last night. So that is your NSIC championship game. St. Cloud State, Minnesota Duluth. The winner gets the automatic bid to the Division II tournament. And unlike past years where the NSIC has been loaded in the Central Regional rankings to get maybe 3 or 4 teams. You remember last year they got 5 to the tournament. That is not going to happen in 2026. There might be 2 that get there this year. The women's side has a better opportunity. We talked about that with Rick Newman on Friday, that likely Mary is going to have to make it to the NSIC championship game to get an at-large berth. Obviously, that did not happen. Their season came to an end yesterday. But shout out for the Northern schools representing in the Northern Sun. And I'll just throw this out there because I tweeted it out late last week, that if Jamestown had been eligible, Jamestown would have first made the NSIC tournament. They would have been the number 2 seed out of the North with how good a season they had. Of course, they're ineligible, but just putting it out there that UJ seems like they are ready to compete in the Northern Sun. Now, granted, I think their best player might probably leave, Anthony Walters. If you get that kind of recognition at this level, I think there's anything we've learned over the last couple of years, if you're the NSIC Player of the Year or Division Player of the Year, you will be sought after if you have eligibility remaining to transfer up. I think both players last year of the year moved up. Maddie Bragg from Northern State is playing at Colorado State. Luke Hurdle from Winona is playing with the Jackrabbits. That's just the natural progression of things. Now, not saying we want those players to leave, just it's matter of fact. As you look, because the Summit League Awards, I only bring up because the Summit League Awards are coming out today. And it's not going to be any surprise who the Women's Basketball Player of the Year is. Actually, if it's not Avery Coonan, then it is a surprise. But you're going to look at those first teams, the first 2 teams, the first team and second team, potentially honorable mention, and start, because we've done it the last couple years. We've literally crossed out the guys that have gone. Last year, I believe the entire first team left the Summit League on the men's side. Women's side's a little different, but the kind of year that Coonan's put up, there's going to be massive amount of money potentially out there if she so entertains it. That'll be out later today, I think after our show is done, when the Summit League is going to release its awards, something we'll keep our eyes on. Of course, a reminder, Friday we'll be in Sioux Falls at the Summit League basketball tournament to recap the opening day. We'll see if Both Bison basketball teams are moving on. One moving on, both done. We'll have a heck of things to talk about if that's the case on Friday's show live in Sioux Falls. We have a packed Tuesday guest lineup here on tap here. I mentioned a little bit of it. It's brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Cole Payton will join us here in just a few minutes, fresh from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. We'll have to talk A, about the 40, B, about the vertical, C, actually about throwing the football, and D, what's up next. That's basically all the questions I have for the former Bison QB, and obviously about his former teammate and throwing the football to Bryce Lance. That some awkward questions I'm sure he got from the NFL personnel. We'll do that with Cole coming up in just a few minutes. Our bowling extraordinaire, Mike McFeely, will join us at 9:35. He tells me he can't go anywhere now without people approaching him about his appearances on the show. He's that big a deal, evidently, or at least in his own mind. We'll chat with Michael about the upcoming tournament down in Sioux Falls, and Grant Nelson's NBA debut. That's coming up with Mike at 9:35. I mentioned David Richman will join us at 10 as the Bison get set for Sioux Falls. Last practice probably here today before they head to South Dakota. They will play Thursday night at 6 against the winner of ORU and Kansas City. That's coming up on Thursday. So we'll visit with David about that at 10. And then I mentioned Gaardsy, Justin Gaard at 10:35. He is the women's play-by-play voice for Minnesota Golden Gophers and the sideline reporter for Minnesota Gopher football. Nothing to chat about there with Gaardsy. We'll do that at 10:35. So that is a busy guest lineup here. So let's take our first break so we can stay on time. We come back for Bison QB Cole Payton about his experience at the NFL Combine. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. You're seeing the blistering speed of Omaha's finest. Cole Payton doing his 40 on Saturday, the tune of a 4.56, and I think got everybody talking on Saturday, and we are pleased as punch to have the former Bison QB. We'll come up bright and early back in California. Just get back to workouts to get ready for the next box to check, which is Bison Pro Day coming up in a couple weeks. It's great to see you, but I think the general consensus out of what you did on the field, for those that hadn't seen you do anything yet, blew them away. What did your representation tell you? What have you heard from feedback of how Saturday went?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Dom. It was a blast to be out there and compete and rep NDSU. Feedback has been good so far. I think this week, starting yesterday, this week is where, Chase, my agent, and the team will continue to be in communication with the NFL teams, the evaluators, the scouts, and so I'll get more of that. But so far, it's been good.
All right, so you got to give us behind the curtain, but just take us through your week when you got there to actually getting on the field, because people only see like the last part when you were out there. Give us the full week breakdown if you could.
Yeah, so we got in the QBs and wide receivers because we competed on Saturday. We got in on Tuesday, so we got in Tuesday evening. Got dinner, had a couple like orientation meetings. Let me think. Wednesday, then in the morning, we had interviews with teams. And so that spanned from 9 a.m. to noon, roughly. 8 a.m. to noon, actually. Yeah, it was about 4 hours. And so meeting with teams, whether that was formal or informal, if they were formal, they were 5 minutes longer than the informal ones. And it was just you and pretty much most of the staff on that team in one of the suites. And then if it was informal, it was more like a speed dating setting with all of guys in your position group and then scouts and position coaches, just kind of in one big room. So that was Wednesday. And then Wednesday, what else did we do on Wednesday? I think it was just it was even more orientation and like NFLPA meetings and onboarding stuff. And then Thursday was the hospital day. And so I was at the hospital for about 6 hours on Thursday, just doing different screenings, imaging, just getting all those up to date. And it was there was a lot of sitting around. that day. And so, yeah, making sure you had snacks, you had a couple shows downloaded on Netflix.
I bet.
There was a lot of just kind of sitting around, to be honest. And so that was the bulk of Thursday. And then Friday, what you do is you kind of meet with one of the team doctors, just randomly assigned.
Okay.
And you kind of go over all of the screening from the day before. And then he takes you into 6 different rooms. And in each room, there's 5 different teams and like most of their medical staffs and like athletic trainers. And pretty much what that doctor that you had met with before going into these rooms is he like basically presents you to the staffs.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, Cole Payton, quarterback 15, North Dakota State. And then he just starts from, all of your injuries throughout your whole life, really, and talks through that for about 10 minutes. And then you go to the next room and do the same thing. And so that was kind of like the presentation of all of the medical stuff. That was Thursday. We also had like podium interview stuff.
Yep.
And even some like media obligations for ESPN and that. And then let's think Friday. I think Friday might have been the podium interview, but yeah. And then finally you get to Saturday and you get to compete. So that was kind of like,
man, oh man. Let me go back
that was the week.
to the medical part of that. So I'm assuming, obviously, they're going to go over the thumb and the labrum. How much did they go in depth on that, if you can share?
Yeah, I mean, teams, like while you're in those settings, like some of the doctors or 8 athletic trainers, they can, ask about about what happened.
Yeah.
And, but they didn't really ask, like, honestly, I think, obviously I had my shoulder in 24 and then my thumb this last season. I honestly don't think that was a lot compared to a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And so, but sometimes they'd be like, are you left-handed or like, like when did you get cleared to throw, stuff like that. And so from my understanding, there weren't huge concerns.
That's good.
So
I will get to the bizarre questions I have to ask in a second. By the way, number 15, did they choose that for you, or is that you picked that because that was your first number at NDSU?
Yeah, that was just they picked that for me. It was based off all the quarterbacks' last names.
I saw that. I'm like, wow, yeah. I wonder if that was just a lucky coincidence or not.
It was coincidence for sure.
So I have to imagine you were ready to rip the door off its hinges on Saturday to finally be back out on the field. Were you nervous, excited, a little bit of both when you finally got out on the field Saturday?
I was excited. I was super excited. It was a super cool environment. Like there was a few sections with a bunch of fans, and my whole family was there, some friends, and so it was just super exciting just to finally get out there, and because of what we've been training for and dreaming of as a kid, and then you get out there, and I was telling some of the guys after the fact, like, adrenaline is one heck of a drug because it was, I felt super fresh, super fast, like explosive. It was cool.
All right. You told me when we were in Nashville and I asked you about which drill you thought you'd do the best at or when you were excited to do. You said the vertical. So we got to talk about that. We're going to show the video here in a second. Why was that the one you were super pumped for? And did you exceed what you thought, or could you do on better?
Yeah. So I don't know. Jumping's always kind of been my thing. I don't know what it is. My theory is, so I've got pretty big calves, right? And I was born with these suckers. So I was blessed with these calves, and like, I think that has to do with how high I can jump, honestly. It's gotta be. And, cause you look at a frog, frogs have ginormous calves. And they can
I've never looked at a frog's calves, but now I will. Okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of my theory there. And so I was, just kind of blessed to be able to jump. And my goal was to break the record. I knew the record was 40 and a half by Anthony Richardson. and then my guy Taylon Green blows it out of the water. And so it's like, all right, now I'm going to go for second place, like all-time second place. And then I was just shy by an inch. But yeah.
You got to feel pretty good still what you did, though, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Obviously, I wanted to break the previous record, which was 40.5, but, getting to 40 was pretty cool, so...
Was there a drill or time, whatever, that you came back and said, hey, that was worth all the training over the last couple months? Was there anything that stood out? Was it the 40, something like that? They said, you know what, that made the last couple months worth it.
Yeah, I think it was the 40-yard dash. I had I don't have a track background, and so like getting in a stance and like doing a lot of those starts was pretty new for me. And kind of like learning how to run in a setting like that was very new for me. And so it was really cool. Shout out to like Sazi and Kurt and Alan and Brock, all of the speed and agility and strength staff here at Excel. Like it was a blast working for them and just trusting in that process because, it was really cool and so worth it.
All right, it was surreal, I think, for us to watch on Saturday, Cole. You're out there throwing, and the guy catching is Bryce Lance. Just what was that like for you guys to do that again?
It was so sick. I remember one of the last routes, that deep kind of pylon route to the right off of the play action, and I see him line up with me. I'm like, let's go, let's go. And so no, that felt good, and it was just so cool to see him, and he freaking killed it. Not surprised. He's a freak, and I know he did well for himself this weekend, and he's going to continue to make noise, and because he's one of the best wide receivers in the class. So the gauntlet drill, you're throwing the ball to him. Did you describe that? And then seeing him, obviously didn't drop one after it, but the pressure of that to hit him first and then go after that. I didn't think too much about it. But yeah, he killed it, after watching, because I'm not really able to watch when I'm out there, right. I had to see replays and highlights from it. But yeah, he's so smooth and so explosive. It was fun to see. So I know you mentioned at the podium on Friday that you had already met with the Lions and the Bears, which it had to be surreal. The Bears are your team growing up. I have to imagine probably just a little jolt of that. What other teams can you tell us that you met with in Indianapolis? Did you meet with all of them, or how many teams did you meet with? So the Lions and Bears, those were formal interviews. Okay. And then those were the only two formals I had. And then I honestly met with probably 15 other teams, wow. Between 15 and 20 other teams, and that was during the informal sessions. And those were either scouts or position, quarterback coaches. Okay. So the formal one, I'm assuming, are you up on the whiteboard and all that? Can you go through what the formal presentation is like, or a formal interview? Yeah, it was a lot of just watching your film. Okay. And so, they'd pull up a cut up of your film. Usually it was bad clips. and they're like, all right, explain, what was the formation? What was the play here? What happened? Why'd you do this? And so you're kind of just explaining your thought processes and how you learned from it, why you did what you did. And it was really a lot of that it was watching film with those teams in the meetings. Was that painful to go through? It wasn't super painful. Going into it, that's what we expected. And so we had prepped during our interview prep, Jake Heaps, the quarterback coach I'm working with, Jake, we were practicing that. We came up with, after watching every single clip from this last year, we came up with a bad reel is what we call it. And so a lot of the plays that made our bad reel were ones that made these other teams bad reel during the combine. So. All right, everyone wants to know, I do especially, Joe Haig, I remember telling us when he came back from the combine, they asked him if he was a dog or a cat person. Did you get an off-the-wall one thrown at you this week? Surprisingly, I did not.
Oh.
There was no question where I was like, surprised by or had that was like unrelated to football. I was expecting one. Sometimes teams will be like, "Hey, tell us a joke," or like, maybe make you do something crazy. And I honestly did not get any of that. I wish I had some funny story or some crazy question, but I wish I had one.
Like if you found a wallet, what would you do with it, right? Like something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you prep for that too?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We were told, maybe have a joke in your pocket just in case or something like that.
Well, you can tell it now. You want to tell it now? You can do it here. What was the joke?
Oh, I don't know if I can say something like that on air.
Fair enough. So last couple things here we go, and I appreciate you doing this morning. So you mentioned the feedback was great. What, I guess from what your agent has told you, has this changed your draft potential? Like where are you at now prior to Pro Day here in a couple weeks?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I'll find out more, as this week goes, and like teams finish up their evaluations from the combine and talk with Chase and everything. And so hopefully I'll have more of an idea. Honestly, what I've learned is really the biggest and kind of the most important thing in this whole thing, is your film. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously already done. The combine, just like they might just want to see, can this guy actually like run fast or what does the ball look like coming off his hand? But a lot of people have just said that like the combine doesn't hold, as much weight as you think it might hold. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the weight is just the film you put out the previous season or in your college career. And so honestly, and that stuff you can't really control. But these are just, kind of boxes to check and to keep giving teams, even more reasons. So
last thing, Bud, before I let you go, just now having it done, is it like a weight off your shoulders? Or, okay, that's just the next step now to get ready for Pro Day?
Yeah, a little bit. It was a relief. And exciting too, because now at Pro Day, all I have to worry about at Pro Day is throwing. Like I got all the testing done, so I don't plan on doing any of the testing, and now I just get to go out there and rip it and support the guys that are testing, and then have a blast just throwing it around the yard. And so that's the focus now. And so definitely some relief.
And who's going to be catching it besides Bryce? I'm assuming Raj, Chris Harris. Who else? Is that what you got at Pro Day?
Yeah, Raj, Chris, BK.
Nice.
Yep. And then Truman Wermeyer is going to do Pro Day as well.
Okay.
And then definitely going to might need a couple more bodies. So getting some younger guys in the mix as well.
Sounds good. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for getting up early with us. Congrats on a great week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks here back in town, all right?
Sounds good, Dom. Yeah, looking forward to see you. Thank you.
There he goes. Cole Payton, former Bison quarterback, off a pretty big week at the NFL Combine. Ran 4.56 in the 40, and from all intents and purposes, we heard certainly improved his draft standing heading into April's draft in Pittsburgh at the end of that month. Let's break. We come back. More on that. We'll also get our guy Mike McFeely coming in. Lots to chat about. The Summer League tournament is on deck. We'll preview that when Hot Mike returns after this.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Yeah. The eagerly anticipated appearance by our guy Mike McFeely following Cole Payton, as you mentioned on social media. Two great athletes to start our show here.
Yeah, I mean, it's two different styles of athlete. I mean, one of us is 6'3", 225, can run a 4.56 40, and will be playing in the NFL next year.
Yep.
And the other is 5'11", 185, so out of shape that he can't walk up the stairs without stopping to have a cigarette halfway up. and can, with the shoulder surgery 30 years ago, can throw a football about 8 yards right now, and runs a 12.6 40.
But bowls a what?
Even I can't even do that anymore. I suck. I bet Cole Payton's a better bowler than I am too.
Well, lefties do everything better. They do.
Well,
it looks better. Golf swing, baseball swing. Yes.
Golf. You're wrong.
Yes.
No. I know golf.
I know you know golf.
You're wrong on the golf swing.
I don't think so.
Cole,
it's my opinion.
Let's have a Cole Payton, Mike McFeely challenge at Sunset Lanes.
I love it. Let's do
for
it.
charity.
He's got nothing going on.
And I'll ask him, can you throw a bowling ball? And he'll be like the last scene in There Will Be Blood. He'll be the Daniel Day-Lewis character. and I'll be
will not go well.
the preacher character.
That will not go well. So what do you want to start with? You want to start some hoops? What do you want to talk about today?
I want to start here. I've been going back and forth on Twitter because I love it. I love to poke people on Twitter because it's so much fun. But so I wrote a column last week about Sacramento State going FBS.
Yep.
Okay. And as time has gone on, my thoughts on this whole deal have evolved.
Okay.
I kind of started off like everybody else going, what's this guy doing?
He's crazy.
Like, he's
Luke
nuts.
Wood is,
He's either crazy or crazy like a fox. I don't know what's going on. And the whole going FCS independent thing was insanity, and trying to petition to go FBS independent was even more insanity.
They got shot down every left and right.
However, now that what has happened, which is that Sacramento State got into the MAC for, is it $18 million, and plus the $5 million entry fee
total.
Plus, oh my God, they're going to pay for teams to go to Sacramento and all these other things. As I've listened to him speak more and answer more of the questions and make his case, and I've looked into the case, I don't know why there's this unanimous outcry in the college football punditry complex that everybody's just so offended and appalled by this.
Probably how frontal he was about it, right?
If you stop and think about it, and I wrote about this last week, Sacramento, again, is I've been to Sacramento one time.
Major metropolitan city.
One time.
Yep.
It is a huge area.
It's a capital. It's the state capital of California.
It's a huge area. Metro, it's like 2 million and 2.5 million people.
Full stop.
Okay? It's in California, which is... It's like the second, third, fourth best state for high school football recruits in the country. It's in California, where it's warm. 12 months out of the year. And by the way, if UCLA or USC or Utah takes a kid out of California and they decide, you know what, I'm just not a Power 4 guy, it's a pretty good place to bounce back.
Yep.
Right? Meta. I didn't notice until yesterday, until Dr. Wood said this yesterday on a podcast.
Yeah.
So people are going, Sacramento State, what a terrible play. Meta, which is the old Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever you think of him and Facebook, it's garbage, whatever. They gave $50 million to Sacramento State University, not for the football program, but to build like an AI tech center in downtown Sacramento. $50 million. So Facebook, Meta, Zuckerberg are into the Sacramento. It's Northern California, right? It's like it's the world's fourth largest economy. Not the United States.
No,
the state of California has 39.5 million people and is the world's fourth largest economy. It's like, if you look at it and just take the emotion out of it, take the way he went about it out of it.
And what he said, yes.
Yep. You go, well, okay, I mean, it was very expensive and it was kind of sloppy, but he got his school to FBS.
It wasn't a straight line.
No, and so what, like, the more this goes along, I'm going, it kind of makes sense, actually.
I think it's hard to take away how he went about, how brash, maybe abrasive to some. That's why I think there's the vitriol against it. That's my opinion on that.
You know what? And when the abrasiveness comes about, I'll say this. Not everybody, not all people who are opposed to this, but many of them, you have a very frontal, aggressive African-American man.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
It's you know.
Yep.
And so that really turns people off.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying everybody, maybe not even the majority, but that's part of it in my view. But if you look at it, and also it's California, which in this part of the country, like California is like this foreign planet that's, oh God, the libs in California. It doesn't matter, it's okay, everybody. I think Sacramento State, if they can make it work, and that's the question, is, if the $18 million is worth it, I think it's a good move for them. And so just everybody watch. Don't mean to promote another channel, another show on your show, but the Big Mountain thing. Yeah, those guys actually did a pretty good job of interviewing Luke Wood. Yeah. And if you listen to it and just sort of go, okay, just listen to what he says. Like again, just like NDSU. This didn't come out of left field somewhere.
Correct.
Like he's been working on this behind the scenes. In addition to the out stuff that he was, we're going FBS. Yes. He was also working behind the scenes on some things.
Yep. It's two totally different ways to go about it, but in the end, it got them where they wanted to be.
And so and I'll keep saying this to anybody, if you think your school should be FBS, and I don't know, I'm not, if whoever, then ask your president and your AD what's they're
going on?
doing.
What's happening? Yep.
Don't gripe about Sacramento State. Don't sit there and drop to your knees and pray that NDSU goes 4-8. Just talk to your AD and your president and say, are we making preparation?
What do we do? What are we doing?
Oh, but in 6 years, it's all going to break. We don't know that.
We don't know that. We do not. Everybody we've talked to, you and I both, on that exact subject says it's folly to predict anything.
Yes.
Let alone that.
It might happen. Let's be clear about that.
Could.
It might happen. I don't know that it's not going to happen.
No.
But you don't know that it is going to happen.
Saying it's a certainty is definitely
we're going to get into G6 for free, and we're going to make up our own conference.
No, that's preposterous. Let's not. Yeah.
So anyway, my point is, NDSU and Sac State went about it in completely different ways.
They did.
It just they both ended up in the same spot.
Yeah.
I mean, logically they maybe should be in, just geographically
correct. Well,
they're not.
Maybe expect them to play a football game against one another this year. What do you think?
I wrote down your schedule.
What did you think of that?
We can talk about it in the next segment.
All right, we'll break. Let's do that.
I don't want to talk about the Summer League.
You sure?
You got Richman on next.
All right. I thought you wanted to have a we could do that also, but I wanted to maybe see if we can get your NBA Inside or your League Pass covered for you with the Grant Nelson chatter. So let's break.
We'll talk about that.
We can do that when we come back. Much more with our guy Mike McFeely here in studio. Dave Richman coming up top of the hour as well. Back on Hot Mike right after this. Welcome back, everybody. I can confirm this video is not from McFeely's NBA League Pass, but
I was waiting for a phone call from the commissioner of the Adam Silver. Would you please remove that video from your Twitter account?
Devils Lake's Grant Nelson, NBA debut. You broke the story late last week that he was likely going to be signed by the Brooklyn Nets to a 10-day contract. He was, and you've watched 2 Brooklyn Nets games, which is 2 more than anybody else has around here.
Yes, think about that. I sat in front of my television.
Well, one night they played the Celtics. You were going to watch that regardless.
Yes.
But you watched Nets Cavs.
I watched the Nets Cavs the other night on my wife's NBA League Pass.
And he looked pretty good, didn't he?
Oh, he looked fantastic the other night. Yes, absolutely. I'm good.
Can he stick? What do you know about that?
The way he was moving the other night and doing some of the things. Now, keep in mind, the Brooklyn Nets are one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the NBA. They're awful. They're just
good.
Awful. Yeah. And people tell me that they're trying to tank to get the first draft pick or whatever. I don't care about that. But Grant Nelson the other night looked really good. And in both games he's played, he looks like he belongs.
Looks athletic to stay out there, right?
He looks like it's not like he's out there like, oh. I mean, he looks like he belongs on an NBA court. And there's a couple of breakaway dunks that he had where he got the ball, gave it up, got it back.
Yep.
Basketball 101 and finished at the rim. He's had a few blocks. He had the other night, his stat line was 11 points, 5 rebounds,
too.
4 assists, and 3 blocks.
Yes.
And it was the first guy off the bench for the net. So they're clearly giving him
some run.
Your
other favorite
as they
term.
say, yes. And so they're giving him a try, if you will, a tryout, and saying, okay, is he going to stick?
The Nets play the Heat tonight.
Yes, tonight. They have a back-to-back, consecutive games, not back-to-back nights, in Miami against
rough.
the Heat.
That's got to be tough for him.
I'll be watching tonight as well. Got to take it. The reason I'm doing this, of course, is so that I can prorate this portion of the season.
The subscription
fee for the league pass, and then turn it into my to the bean counters at 101 5th Street North and go, hey, I'm doing this for work.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yep.
So yesterday I threw some stuff at the wall. I put out what I think could potentially be the 2026 Bison football schedule. You can check it out, inforum.com.
Yes.
It's some informed speculation, some informed news in there as well. What did you make of what I put out there?
I was just going to say, if people read it and go there, it's under Izzo column type of thing. There's clearly some informed, real stuff in there, and there's also clearly some just
throw
guessing,
stuff. Let's see what happens. Right.
See what happens.
Yep. We do know there's some dates that are not available. That's what I took that into account there.
Okay. Now, this is what Dom has. I wrote this down for this express purpose. This is what Dom's schedule prediction is. August 29th, Jacksonville State at home.
Yes, week 0.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yep.
September 5th, UC Davis for their FCS non-conference game at home. Okay, that's better than Austin P or Southeast Missouri or Drake or whomever or New Haven. September 12th, at Air Force for the first Mountain West game. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's their Air Force good.
Yeah.
September 19th. Speaking of Luke Wood, I can get to meet him in person if this comes true. At Sacramento State. You're predicting that the two FBS
they both
newbies
need games. Everybody needs a game,
yep,
right?
So that's probably logical. September 26th, Nevada at home. So Jeff Choate can be on Valium for that game.
It has not gone well for him in Fargo. No,
it has not.
And frankly, those teams were better than his Nevada team now, I would think.
No, I wouldn't say.
No? That 2019 Montana State team was all right.
What are those things where they have the holograms?
Yeah.
They need to have a hologram of Christian Watson. Have him run by the Nevada bench.
Well, I was going to say Derek Tuska doing the money sign to him after every play.
And then have a fan hit Choate, and so it's like Christian Watson running by him for 70 yards untouched.
So that was September 26th.
October 2nd at Hawaii.
Yep.
You and Kolpak thinks there's going to be this big contingent of Bison fans going to Hawaii.
No, I say a big contingent going to Vegas.
Okay.
To me, Kolpak maybe. I think Vegas is going to be the game.
Hawaii, this could be like
That's a long way to go.
Expensive
Yes.
in long ways.
Yes.
October 10th, a bye. October 17, homecoming, you have Wyoming. The Craig Bowl. That'd be fantastic.
And he has to be there for the game.
Yes, he does.
Has to be there.
Yes. October 24th, you don't really have a team, but you say a G6 school.
G6 on the road.
On the road because they're going to need that.
Yes.
And you predict a MAC, Sunbelt, or CUSA school.
I picked La Tech I'm going to go with. Louisiana Tech's got some... They don't know what league they're going to be in, Michael, for next year. They could be in the Sun Belt or Conference USA.
Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, La Tech was one the Mountain West may have considered if NIU.
Oh, they were under consideration.
If NIU fell through.
If Northern
right?
Illinois fell through was a year ago
Which I
or
think
whatever.
You were
going to
throw the chair through the window if La Tech got in.
I was told by somebody who might know that La Tech was up, like they were starting to vet La Tech.
Wow. Okay.
Instead of North Dakota State. Because it was the FCS thing.
Correct. Yep.
October 31st, Halloween at New Mexico. Woo-hoo. These road games are going to be hard.
You're right. I know.
I don't think this is going to be like an 11-1 season, folks. That'll be good. November 7th, a bye, because they can have 2 byes because they play in Hawaii and they can play week 0. November 14th, UTEP at the Dome.
Yep.
November 21st at UNLV.
Right before Thanksgiving.
That's the one where the people will go
I would
there,
think so.
Especially in November.
If that ends up coming to pass, yes. Yep.
And somebody I saw on... I tweeted at you that there's an F1 Formula One race in Vegas that same weekend.
Yep.
Oh, man. The motorheads and the football fans can get their fill. November 28th, Northern Illinois at home.
The finale. Yep.
In the Corn Belt Bowl or whatever we want to call that one.
What do you think?
That's pretty good. I mean, you can, this is going to be harder than people think it's going to be.
Yes.
We've talked about this, that I don't know how good NDSU is going to be compared to what they've been the last 10 years.
Yep.
I don't, it seems like they're going to have some drop off at some positions. But you look at that schedule compared to the schedule they had, I mean, it's not even close.
No.
It's not even close.
No. Considering Indiana State and, you had Indiana State was coming here.
Yep.
You had the road game at Central Arkansas. You had East Tennessee State and Austin P coming here. Now you're going to trade out for Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State is already a recognizable team.
If it comes to pass that UC Davis is
that's
the one
the FCS team.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
That's way better than Austin P. It's a legitimate FCS top 10 to 15, the last 5 years, top 8 program.
Correct.
In the country.
Yep.
If you're right about this, that's a pretty good schedule.
I would say
that's for a first year in FBS on very short notice.
Correct.
Because remember, they were supposed to play FCS this year and then go next year and have a year to line up games. They're doing all of this in this is like a month ago this happened.
And I would anticipate like Sac State would come back here then in 2027 as part of that.
Yeah.
And I was told, I think you and I had this conversation, that don't write off the Vegas game for next year either. The Montana State game, that's
$1 million.
Right, $1.2 million NDSU's getting for that.
Go to NDSU. So I don't think they can just wipe that off because it's an FCS school.
Yeah, but I think there's a strong possibility that. So NDSU fans, if you don't make it to Vegas this year, go next year or go both.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the opportunity. They're going to do it.
And as I was told by a very good source, Allegiant Airlines has been alerted that NDSU fans might be wanting to buy more flights to Vegas whenever that game is.
Yes.
So Allegiant, which by the way, the stadium is Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, but Allegiant Airlines is alerted that they may need to add a couple, 3-4 flights to Las Vegas whenever that game is.
We got to roll. Will we see you in Sioux Falls? Are you heading down?
If Richman or Jory can get their teams to the championship game or both, I will be there on Sunday.
That'll be, we'll see what happens. Bison men haven't played in the title game since that Oral Roberts team that won 48 in a row.
And the last time they won down there, like 2 days, like a day later,
the world ended.
The world
Correct.
there's like a demarcation line there.
It's crazy. Great to see you, bud. Thanks for coming by.
You bet.
Mike McFeely joins us each and every Tuesday at 9:30. We come back. Dave Richman will start hour 2. Bison men are the top seed in Sioux Falls. We'll preview that when Hot Mike returns after this.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
I think just like Dom's outfit, they're not always pretty. Sometimes they're really ugly. But
Just been all over Amazon and just about every site looking for these mustard pants. And
my wife will tell you, she must have burned mine.
People actually listen to your show.
They watch.
They watch it.
Yeah.
Play defense in that first half like Dom transitions to you after the game. It's way too long, way too lazy, but
you got all these answers. I'm going to bring you over and have you do our non-conference schedule.
I'd love to. I'd love to go to Grand Canyon,
I would
man.
love.
Hey,
well, you can come with. That's not the thing.
I love when you're on Dom. You're so transparent. And I'm like, so 2 things are happening. That one, people are watching your show, listening.
Yes.
Right? That caught me a little off guard. I'm just being honest.
Well, viewership about to spike here on this Tuesday morning. We start hour 2 with our guy Dave Richman joins us. His appearances are brought to us each and every week by Northwestern Mutual. Bison gets set for the Summit League Tournament. Their opener is Thursday night, 6 o'clock at the Premier Center in Sioux Falls. They'll play the winner of Oral Roberts and Kansas City. It is March, my man. Here we go, right?
Yeah, give me a second here. I'm just updating my Google Calendar to our Tuesday Zooms.
Yes.
Like it's 10:05, not 10 o'clock. I had 10 o'clock in there, but I'm just fixing this real quick. Don't give me a second.
Got it. Okay.
It takes me a while. I'm not very tech savvy, and I want to make sure that I'm on point, timely. Very detailed this time of year. All right, good. I'm good. I got it all fixed. So as we go forward, 10:05.
So you know what?
Good.
I know how much you love excuses. You can blame McFeely. Blame Mike. He went long. So
I would. Hey, Not only do I hate excuses, I would love to blame McFeely for anything. So let me guess, he wanted to hear himself talk
Of
a little bit more.
of course.
Yeah.
So it's this week. You're getting ready. Let me ask first: is it unique, weird? Are you planning for how you plan for two teams? You don't know until about 9:00 Wednesday night who you're playing.
Yeah, no, it's different. Obviously for about 786 years, I've been going down to Sioux Falls and and doing this thing. And so it took me a minute, and I was thinking, honestly, I love it. I absolutely love it. And here's what I mean: like the 90 to 95% of our focus is usually bison based, anyways. Yep. And now it just really allows me to just sink, our teeth, into us. And, you've heard me say this before. We talk a lot about blocking, tackling, not getting penalties, the fundamentals, the basics, and doing things the right way, the bison way. And it just really allows us to do that. We had a very spirited, competitive practice yesterday, pretty much 5-on-5, bison versus bison, maybe a couple tweaks of Kansas City, a couple tweaks of Oral Roberts mixed in there. But in the grand scheme of things, it's bison basketball that's going to matter in Sioux Falls, and so for us to focus on that is great.
I want to get back to that in a second. We visited after the press conference Saturday. It was obviously senior day. You recognized four guys with Tay Smith and Markai Strickland, and Noah Federson and Damari Wheeler-Thomas on your actual roster that are going to be done. And I had people message me, Dave, before the game on Saturday saying, I didn't know Damari and Noah were going to be done. And obviously they've been there for 4 years. Can you expound a little bit about your conversations with both of them about what was going to happen after this season?
Yeah, that's on me, Dom, and I can own it, especially based on our relationship and the things that we talk about, weekly on this show. This would have been a great avenue, but I do appreciate, your conversation afterwards and this. And absolutely, I think and it says in my recruiting kind of spiel pitch to anybody, like, your happiness is our happiness. And we had a lot of conversations going back to last spring about, hey, what about one more year? And listen, when I say that, like, I look like an idiot. I am an idiot, but I'm not that big of an idiot. Like, I know this day and age that they had opportunities. I'm sure they had, more higher level monetary opportunities to go somewhere else, but it was kind of an agreement that we had that at the time there was another individual too. We were talking about it, and at the very last moment, he decided to leave. But these two stuck around, and they're going to graduate now as bison. They've been here for 4 years. To me, the blood, sweat, tears, have been left. They've left this place better than they found it in a grand scheme of how we've ended this regular season. So this wasn't news to me at all. Okay. These are very open and transparent conversations, that we have. I'm very appreciative of how they've handled this season. They're very appreciative of the opportunities to continue to, advance, their careers and their development at the same time, continue to help us. And so big hugs, no surprises, the right thing, because it's their happiness that'll lead to our happiness. But I also say all that, Dom, too, like, any recruit or future prospect we want them to hear that. Like, this is what we want. Like, we're going to do right by you as you do right by us. And so no, this wasn't a surprise, maybe, and I understand how it's listed on the roster. I don't know if we should even list years on the roster anymore for a lot of different reasons.
That's a whole other discussion.
I don't know what eligibility is, or what other schools looking at our roster to determine what our kids are. But no. I'm very, very pleased, grateful for them, and excited for their futures here with us the next few weeks and then beyond.
This is a more generic college basketball question, which I know you're going to love, but is that probably more the standard? If you get 4, you're living well. Like the 2009 team that you were assistant on, where 4 guys redshirt for 5 years. That's not going to happen anymore, right? That's pie in the sky kind of talk now.
No, you're again. I don't have a crystal ball, and I would love to say it. Maybe it does happen. Like we have a group of 5 freshmen coming in next year, which is a lot. Yep. Maybe they ride it out, and all of a sudden, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's highly unlikely, that's the case. But we need to continue to blend this together with the mix of the right guys that are going to own their happiness and continue to help. Like I still bang the table loud and clear. Like there's still an obligation to Bison basketball and to move this forward. And that's my job, is that this program needs to win basketball games. It needs to win basketball games, graduate kids with the right type of kids, while advancing your own individual careers. And that's a convicted message. It's not just about you and your numbers or your value. It's about us helping you. And I just, read this morning, the more you give, the more you get. And I think that's a big statement in a lot of things.
Take me back to Saturday, that atmosphere inside the building, and then the play you played over the last 30 minutes of that. Describe of that being maybe the best send-off you could have to go down to Sioux Falls.
Yeah, it was the best. Absolutely. I think Wes found it, or somebody, like an 88-46 run to close out those last 30 minutes, was terrific by our guys. And a lot of things to start that game, man. Fans are probably like, what's going on? I got cramps in my legs. We're making them stand up too long here. But we were not very good Thursday night at St. Thomas. And again, I'm not taking anything away from St. Thomas. At the end of the day, it's college basketball. I think there's always going to be those things, in particular on the road against good teams. And but we responded. We had a really challenging practice on Friday, so maybe we're a little tired, thinking about some of those things. You got the emotions of senior day. You got the energy of the crowd. You had and you got UND that plays an aggressive, chaotic style of defense that it takes you some time to settle into. And we were just punting on first and second down, for the start of that, for the first 5-6 minutes of that game. And we settled in. We started to pass and catch. We started to get the ball to the other side, and things just took off from there. And just again, it was fun. It was what's right about college basketball. You're sending some guys out the right way on senior night. You had just an unbelievable atmosphere. I go back to, Tyree Edey always talked about legacy, what legacy meant. And that was like a packed shack. And I thought the shack only held 5,100, and all of a sudden we're announcing 50. This is awesome, and students were great. And Tanner's hitting a half-court shot. And obviously you're playing your rival and all the things like, I thought McFeely's article was spot on the other day. Like it was really cool. And again, shame on me, but like the women, Jory and his ladies are climbing ladders and cutting nets before us. And as I'm walking to the press conference, Wes is grabbing me. Hey, our track teams won. It was just a great day to be a Bison.
That having the half-court shot seemed, by the way, fitting that he made that, because Tay Smith made everything. You guys were making everything the last 30 minutes. Why wouldn't a guy come out of the stands and make a half-court shot?
I get in the car. I get in the car on my way home with my twins, and all Kenley wants to talk about is this Tanner guy, Dad, that made this half-court shot. I'm like, Kenley, like we just won 14 conference games, and we just beat UND by 30, and like it was a great. Yeah, Dad, but Tanner, he only had one chance, and he got $5,000, and I'm just like, okay, tells you where I rate.
Yeah, I know. If you could have made one, then maybe you would have got some attention then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It was a great environment, and I thought a really fitting way to send out a team and you won 24 regular season games. I mean, again, that's, in this day and age, that is really hard to do, man.
Yeah, I think some of that is even lost on me, Dom. Yeah. Like, I've been a part of some unbelievable teams here, unbelievable. And you talk about the 14 team that beat Oklahoma. You talk about Woody's group in 2009. You talk about our group in 2020 and all the things. And again, I believe 24 regular season wins is the highest mark, is what I've been told. And so, I mean, it's fun, Dom. Like it's fun. We are around good dudes. And I think I had a conversation with another Division I coach yesterday who's kind of going through it a little bit. They're not having a great season. And the word keeps coming up, like competitive character. You need talent and you need competitive dogs. You need dudes. But the moment they lack the character that I want to be around, then I don't want our assistants to bring those guys even to coach, he's talented, but we're done. Like it's almost like character that's competitive, if that makes sense.
You mentioned it in the press conference Saturday. I want to bring it up because you were talking about the St. Thomas game. the ability to bounce back. You had the Denver loss. You played a day later with Omaha. Really competitive game. You won it. You lost Thursday night in St. Paul. Come right back. Another really competitive opponent. Last game of the year with UND. What was it about the guys that you saw this resiliency in them? Was that something that was there at the start of the year, or has that developed as the whole season went along?
Yeah, I think any time like my life has gotten a lot better when I've realized two things. Number one, life is hard, and when you get some easy moments and enjoy them. And number two, instead of taking my finger and pointing it, at somebody in particular, an 18 to 24-year-old who in the grand scheme of things is a kid, a young man is pointing my finger right back at me. What can I do better? And I felt like, the week building up to St. Thomas, like I just, we didn't have the right mentality in practice. And that's me, not setting the tone the right way. And we came back and I told him I got off the bus at about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, not a happy camper. As I watched it back, it was worse than I thought. And I said, hey, you guys, I'm going to be better. You guys be ready to practice, tomorrow afternoon. I said, taping them up. We are going to go. And we had a spirited, direct film session. We practiced. We had guys getting back at 3 in the morning and lifting weights at 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. And that's it, right? Yeah. And so it's on me. Like this is all on me. I get too much credit when we win. I don't get enough blame when we lose. And the guys follow suit, and that's what I love about this group. Where you talk about responding, they're just waiting. They're like, I had another great coffee this morning with a high level CEO in town, and he talked about it too. We just had the conversation. Kids have not changed. Kids just want truth. They want direction. They want love. And they don't, how do I say that? In the moment, they don't want it, but like they respect it. And they respect that kind of love. And like, I went at them Friday. They didn't flinch. There they were Saturday morning at a walkthrough Spirited, and you saw where they were at Saturday afternoon.
I got an email to ask you, and I was going to ask you this in a different way. Dom, could you ask Dave, what is life like as a head coach of a program in a one-bid league when you get to March and you're the number 1 seed? You've been down this road before. I mean, I can't imagine. The pressure is obviously there.
No. Again, like, define your wins. Like this is, I've become a better coach when I've been just realizing that it's all about the moment. And if winning or losing defines my life, then I'm doing the wrong things. And I certainly understand the question, and people talk about it. We're going to work to get better today and do all the things. We're going to get present. And obviously, hopefully, we're fortunate to play 120 minutes of great basketball and hop on a charter flight and go to the NCAA tournament. That would be great. If it doesn't happen, is it going to be disappointing? Yeah. But is it going to end any of our love for basketball and all that? It better not, because then you're playing for the wrong reasons. So, like, we've had success down there because we go down there, we're present, and it's not pressure, it's a privilege. And I think when you get on that stage, yeah, there's a level of excitement that there should be. But the moment it becomes pressure, you become tight, and you do things that aren't characteristic of who you are. And what my challenge this week is when we're practicing in the practice facility is get them to execute that same exact way. Yeah, it's a different circumstance, but can we execute that same way starting Thursday night?
All right, let's break. Much more with Dave. We come back, look ahead to the Summer League tournament, talk a little bit more about the matchup with either Oral Roberts or Kansas City. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns. We're back right after this. Welcome back. A few minutes here with Dave Richman. Bison men play Thursday night, 6 o'clock in Sioux Falls. We'll be there. Looking forward to another trip down to the Premier Center. Hot Mike will be live on Friday to do our show there. Another email comes in. Dom, this is good. Dom, you asked Dave what his favorite non-championship moment has been in Sioux Falls. Has he got one that comes to mind? Non-championship moment that you've had in Sioux Falls?
I always tend to make a lot of friends, like, when you'll have to walk to a media thing in the background and there's a lot of blue and gold there. And apparently for some reason I'm not their biggest fan. So they tend to throw things at me as they have a few beverages in them.
Stunner.
Like, I don't know if that's a favorite memory. That's just a memory. Yeah.
I got one. I want to say 2016. semifinal against Fort Wayne. How much were you guys down?
Yeah.
How much were you guys down?
Great.
You guys like 20, right?
We were down like 16 or 18.
You're getting killed, and you came back and won that game.
Came all the way back.
Unbelievable game.
I sent a really one of the tougher decisions I've ever made. I sent a culture decision, to sit one of our players based on some things, and responded. And again, you go back to the respect. I got a monster hug from that individual, that player after the game, and we weren't able to get it done that next night, but. You're exactly right. That was a great moment.
That was pretty good. Pretty good moment. We were just talking with McFeely about this in the first hour. Seeing Grant Nelson play in the NBA, man. First Bison to do that. Just describe this, and I mean, you guys were one of the first to offer him out there to see this happen, and now play in the NBA. Just give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, like goosebumps. Just really, really cool for our program. Obviously, extremely proud and very, very happy for Grant and his family. And as you saw, you talk about competitive character. Like, that is a very competitive, wonderful, wonderful young man. And again, you go back to happiness, his happiness, and our happiness. It's been great for him standpoint to. Get those experiences at Alabama, but I'm still a firm believer in your roots and where you're raised, and him growing up in Devils Lake, North Dakota, and him coming here and letting us challenge him, work with him, develop him, love him. Some of the tough times that like behind the scenes of doing some of those things with him, but at the end of the day, like it's Grant, and I'm really happy for him. He has the kind of fearlessness probably at the end of and obviously he has tremendous God-given abilities of being 6'11", 7 feet, and he can move, and his hands are great, and you saw that, like he's in the NBA and he's already out there getting 10 points and stuff from the stats, and man, I just hope like he can stay healthy and have a really good off season and see where this takes him, and but also, like, I called Jackson Money yesterday. I FaceTimed him. I'm like, hey, where Grant Nelson is right now? And, like, go. Come on. But, like, this is a business. Step on the gas, and you can do these things. And, Tyson Ward, I believe, is extremely close and on the verge, of some of those same conversations. And, listen, 99.9% of the credit goes to those kids, those guys. But I think it does speak to, what Jason Miller does in strength and conditioning, what our program is about as far as love, culture, development, winning, and then I think that's a big part of those guys understanding those things.
Got him listed now at 7 foot. Is that legit, you think?
I saw that too. Yeah. Like I don't, and I usually, when they get to the NBA, they usually are like barefoot, legit, right. Not like everybody's Twitter profile that adds 3 inches to them.
No way does that happen. People inflate that? Come on, that can't happen.
That's been one of the things as Coach Strachey's brought a lot of things to me, and we're recruiting some international guys, and you wait till you get over here and like, is he really that tall? And yeah, sure enough, there he is.
I couldn't believe that anybody would fudge that online. That can't be something that would actually happen. Out there. Give us the lowdown between now and Thursday night. Practice, what's the travel schedule ahead here for Bison men's basketball?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all about being present, all about getting better. We're going to practice here. Again, this week is different, and I'll say that just because we don't know who we're playing, and we won't know until, later tomorrow night. But it allows us to put our focus where our focus needs to be, and we need to get back into a routine of some things. And so we practice very spirit. Like, we had some pushing, shoving, guys throwing balls at each other yesterday. Like, that was a Dave Richman type practice, like a competitive, really good practice. And today we'll back it down a little bit and do some walkthroughs, talk about some situational things on a normal 2 days before. We'll go at it again pretty heavy before we hit the bus, tomorrow afternoon. And I think it'll be big where we can get the guys into the environment a little bit. They can see Kansas City and ORU go at it, and then we'll settle in and be ready to go, be present on Thursday night. And go ahead, ask me, who we want to play. I'll tell you. I want a 12 overtime game, and then I want school to win. I think Oral Roberts is playing well right now. Ty Harper's been extremely aggressive. And I just think Marvin Minzy in his last go-around, he might have just a million different things up his sleeve. And so I'm going to be very curious to sit back and watch all that transpire tomorrow night.
Look at that. Didn't even need to you don't even need me here. You could just do this by yourself, right?
Yeah, that's why the ratings of the show are so high during this half-hour segment.
No doubt. Thanks, as always, for the time. Safe travels, and I'll see you down there on Thursday, okay?
How are the Jets doing at the Combine? Are they getting anybody yet?
No, we're not. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? It's nothing good, I can tell you that. So
I'm just going to – who's next? I'm going to keep talking like McFeely does.
You know who's next? One of your buddies, Justin Gaard from KFAN in the Cities. You know JG, right?
I know JG.
Yeah.
Tell him a little place.
I will. I'll see you on Thursday, all right?
See you, my friend.
There he goes, Dave Richman. NDSU men's basketball head coach Bison will face either Kansas City or Oral Roberts, as David said he wants them to play 12 overtimes. That game is tomorrow night at 7 at the Premier Center. ORU's playing better. He's right about that. They've won 3 in a row. Ty Harper had 47 in their next to last game for Oral Roberts when they beat South Dakota. Or Denver, excuse me. So you figure that out. You're a smarter man than I. I will say this. ORU scared the heck out of them up here. That was a rock fight, double overtime game. The Bison needed a Feddersen basket basically with 0.4 of a second left to win it. I don't know if it's going to come down to that, but that's a scary proposition in that 1-8 game or 1-9 matchup, whatever it comes to pass on Thursday. Let's break. We come back. I mentioned our guy, JG, Justin Gaard, will join us. We'll chat some Gopher women's basketball. Can they host? We got to get some Gopher football chatter. PJ just got another prospect out of the Red River Valley. We'll discuss that and much more when Hot Mike returns after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tuesday morning show, final half hour rolls on. Tomorrow, get ready, day out from the Summit League tournament for us heading down to Sioux Falls. We'll chat about that coming up on the show tomorrow. And we're not the only tournament going on. The Big Ten women's basketball tournament gets going. I've been told to say in the greatest city in the world for our next guest who loves Indianapolis. Our guy, JG, Justin Gaard from KFAN, who's the women's basketball play-by-play, also is Gopher football sideline reporter who loves Indianapolis so much. It's great to see you, JG. How you been, bud?
You're right. I'm so blessed. I should be in Indianapolis right now because I don't get there till Thursday night. The greatest host city in the world, just ask them. They've got the Final Four coming up a little bit.
They do, yeah.
Honestly, we could talk Gophers. We could talk Vikings. I kind of want to talk, everything going on with you guys. NDSU going to the Mountain West. Yeah. That's great. Summit League basketball. I have a Sioux Falls memory. I heard you with Coach Richman. Yeah. You want my Sioux Falls memory?
Do it. Go for it.
2014, I think the last year in the old building, if I remember correctly. And that was obviously the Saul Phillips year in Oklahoma, and I drove over there. I was about to have my first child, so I knew I'd never be able to go to Sioux Falls for the Summit League tournament again, which, by the way, I haven't because he was born in August, and maybe I'll bring him one day. And watching the Bison win that game against Purdue Fort Wayne,
correct.
IPFW, does that sound right?
That's right.
And really had to grind it out to get it done. I'm sure everybody remembers it. And then just being around for that whole thing, the celebration. Yeah. I actually gave Saul Phillips a ride back to his hotel that night in the Holiday Inn. It's downtown Sioux Falls. Yeah. Richman was there. I met he and his wife at some booster room right after, and I still have a piece of the net.
Is that right?
Somehow I got a piece of the net. Yeah, I was integral. I grabbed one piece of the net. It's at my desk at work, and everybody asks me when they come by, what is that? I go, it's from the 2014 Summit League Championship.
Oh, my God.
I wish I had it behind me. I'd pull it out, but it was great. It was great.
You have which more valuable, the piece of the net from the 2014 Summit Championship, the program password trophy, or the initials championship? Which one do you have as your highest one?
They're all right on the same level, Dom. That's the thing. They're right there. All three of those things are there, and it was great. And then obviously the Oklahoma win after that. I was on the Riverwalk watching that because I was in San Antonio to watch Tim Miles play. Nebraska had made the tournament, so all my buddies had a good 2014, but that was what a great. It's such, you said it. It's just the best week. It's just the best time, and the pressure of the week for the number one seeds, which I know the Bison are feeling right now. It's everything, and that's why these championship weeks are unbelievable.
Well, and there's a ton of steam, obviously, in your neck of the woods because St. Thomas went and clobbered the Bison last week. They're now eligible. I'm really interested, JG, that we've not seen the turnout I thought would come. Maybe it will happen this year that they're eligible, that people will come from St. Paul to watch the Tommies play. Now, they got a heck of a tough draw because they got South Dakota State. That's a home game, as you know, for the Jackrabbits to start on Thursday night.
Yeah, the attendance thing is interesting. You're right, because they're doing, they've microwaved this whole thing, right?
Yes.
They didn't really do a slow build to D1. It's like, hey, we're D3, we're over here, and bang, now we're D1. And guess what? We want to play in the tournament now. Well, it's not like this huge school that has, a huge alumni base. So the attendance down here has been light. They had a good crowd, I think, the last couple of weeks, and their hockey team is actually doing really well too, and kind of the same deal. So that's going to take a little longer. Yeah, I don't know, because the other thing too is, and we can find excuses to not do anything. People do have jobs and lives and have to work, right?
Yes. Yes.
I've been arguing with that about even some women's attendance things with my buddy Ryan Burns. It's like, hey, we can't just pull up on a Wednesday when you have kids and you've got all these things. It just doesn't work that way. But it's going to be, because as you know, you mentioned the 09 team. I was listening to you and Coach before, like that team and what that season meant, like their first year of eligibility. That was literally the whole plan. And then Greg Campy and Oakland have different ideas, and Ben Woodside has to be a hero. Like that's kind of what St. Thomas is in right now. Like this. They've been looking forward to this moment, right?
Yep.
And so we'll see how they handle it. But it sets up for amazing storylines.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. It's been really fun to watch what you do in the wintertime with the Gopher women's basketball team. They've been humming. They beat Ohio State, which was a massive win. They beat Illinois to wrap the regular season. So the 4 seed going in, they got the double bye in the Big Ten tournament, which obviously you're on your way to at the end of this week. Dawn Plitzowite in year 3. I remember year 3 USD is when really things started to go in Vermilion, Guardsy. It seems like, I know she's got a mix of her players, some of Lindsay's players there, but man, this has all come together really impressively in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm happy for the group because a lot of them have been around for a while, and that's helped them. And people ask me, what's the difference? Number one, they've been healthy.
Yep.
They did have, Taylor Woodson, who was supposed to play, unfortunately hurt her knee again, the different knee actually, than she did a year ago. So she's been the one big injury for a rotation player. But Mara Braun, who's missed the last 2 years, is back, and she's really started to play well kind of since the calendar year turned to 2026. And so the people have asked me what the difference is, and I said, well, they've been playing a long time, and it's hard in college sports to play when you're young. Illinois, who we just played, super talented team, start 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores. They're going through it a little bit. Like, they're still going to make the tournament, but they're not maybe what they've been the last couple of years. Now this Gopher team is grown women, right? And they came in playing the Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin, Iowa teams that had started, 120 games together because of COVID and other things. Well, now they're that team.
Yeah. And
probably not dissimilar to what Jory's got going on with the Bison women. Like, I recognize a lot of those names. We've played them the last handful of years, right? Going back to 2 years ago. And you keep the same group. They kind of grow. They kind of understand you. And all of a sudden you're really good. And that's what's happened here. And it's been fun to watch because it's a great group. You know how everybody in our area loves the local angles and the Minnesota kids and the Midwest kids. It's a big deal, I know, for all of our states to have that kind of representation. So it's been really cool, and they put themselves in a good position to maybe even host NCAA tournament games, which would be wild.
I'm glad you brought that up because I saw you post that last week, and I was, I guess, maybe oblivious of, wow, the Gophers, would they be that ranked highly? And then we saw the projection come out Sunday, and they're a 15, which means they would host at Williams Arena, which I know the Minnesota State High School League took a ton of crap for that, for moving the boys basketball tournament. But now it looks like it really could happen. And I thought, wow, if the Bison or the Jackrabbits win this thing, could they get paired in the same regional? Now that would be spicy.
Spicy be the word. That would remind me of the 09 team coming to the Dome playing Kansas.
Yeah.
That would be great. And you're right. Your reaction, Dom, is a reaction that a lot of people, as I was saying it, the last few weeks, I'm like, hey, look, like if they keep winning and they win these teams, they should be in consideration for this. And everybody kind of said, huh? What do you mean? Well, if they're in the top 16, that's how it works. And it's, I think because they've kind of quietly gone along this year, and really didn't have the high profile wins till the last month, beating Iowa down there top 10, beating Ohio State top 10. I think they kind of snuck up on a lot of people, and that includes the people that follow college basketball nationally. And they just haven't been in people's minds the last few years, which makes sense. They haven't been to the tournament since 2018. So they're in a good spot. I think it was surprising even to them that the committee put them in the top 16, because I think they're kind of used to being a little bit of an afterthought. So now we'll see how they handle that. It is a different pressure when more is expected of you. And I think that hurt them last week against Michigan State. I don't think they played their best in the final home game, but it's good to be in that conversation. That's all you can ask for. And the cool thing is, and you think about the Bison, like the fact that they're, I've seen them as high as a 10, maybe even a 9 in different brackets.
Yes.
Like they're in a good spot. Like it's good to not have that stress and that drama because of what you've done numerically.
Well, yes and no, because I've down this road where the net ranking for NDSU I think is in the high 40s, right, 40 or 41.
Yeah,
but
it's probably a little low.
That's still not a guarantee if they don't win that championship. I don't know if the Summit League gets 2 teams. I don't know if I see that happening this year.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right. So let's hope they win, and then whatever seed they get is good. But it's good. It's good to not have the drama.
All right. So give me your reaction down the cities on the news of North Dakota State going to the Mountain West. We're consumed by it up here, and it's happening this fall. What have you heard down there, especially with your ties to the Gopher football team, of this happening?
Well, first of all, I originally congratulated Mike McFeely when I saw the news. But the more I thought about it is, I feel bad for him because he's losing out on at least a half a dozen columns,
and
at least a half a dozen segments with you saying this is what the Bison should do. So I know everyone's always looking for content, but I think it's great. I think it's, I know Matt Entz said, about time. It just feels like a good time to do this move. I understand why they stayed FCS for as long as they did. But it just feels like the way college sports is going, what a great time to do this and get into what I think is a really good league, the Mountain West. I think it's always made sense geographically, facilities-wise, just all of it. I thought it makes sense. If you never knew anything about college sports and you just popped up and said North Dakota State is in this league, that would make sense to me, I think. And so I think it's great. I heard you guys talking about the potential schedule for next year. I mean, how good is that? How cool is that for fans? I always say it, and I've said it on your show when you talk about the Big Ten expanding, and I didn't mind going to Eugene and Seattle this year. I didn't mind going to Los Angeles last year.
Right.
Like, fans clearly have liked it. You're 100% right. Vegas is going to be the new Frisco, I think, or at least one of them.
Yes.
I think it's great. I think it's good for everybody, like, in the area. I think it's good for, obviously their recruiting. I think it's good for kids in the area to have another, Power 4, Power 6 type place to go if they want to. I think it's brilliant. I'm really excited for everybody involved.
Is there any chance that these two play football anytime soon? I know PJ has made it known they don't want to play the Bison. What do you make of that?
I would say no chance. No chance. We talked about, no is Corey Cove on the morning show, and he says there's no such thing as 0% or 100%. He might be right. He's smarter than me. We just talked about this on my college football podcast, Pair and Spare. Like, no one wanted to play the Bison the last few years, right? And I was at the game when they beat Iowa the year after the Rose Bowl. I know I've told you about that. Like, it's just that was the position that they put themselves in. People said, why are we paying this team to come beat us? This seems counterproductive. Possibly. I'll never say never, but it just seems like it's especially the way that the Power 4 schools are structuring their own deal, kind of playing each other more and adding more conference games.
Right.
I would say it's probably a long shot for that, too. But you'll always have the memories. Tyler Rowe will always be a hero, right?
No doubt about it.
Marcus Williams will always have the pick six in 2011. We'll all remember it.
Last thing before we let you go, I know Bernsey wrote about this. I'm not sure if you guys have talked it on your latest pod, that PJ made some more recruiting headway up here. Got Moorhead's Tay Rich. That's part of maybe a Spud triumvirate that all have been offered by the University of Minnesota. It's another flag, I think, for PJ to plant up here, Guardsy, because he's got it with the last couple of years. The top player out of North Dakota has come down there and played. This is a big deal again. If he wants to get all three, it's a good way to get the first guy in. Yeah,
and we did talk about it on Pair and Spare actually last week, and I've you know me, I've spent a lot of time in your area with my wife being a Cobber and my relationship, with our affiliate up there. And just even in my time to see how everything's kind of grown and see how many kids are coming out of there. And I like that. I'm sure the schools there don't love it anymore because there used to be secrets and hidden gems, right?
Yes.
There's no secrets anymore, just because of the way that the world is. So, and I just love, the whole Moorhead story, them winning the hockey tournament a year ago. I know they're back here this week as the 2 seed. I love the fact that they seem throwback and that a lot of their kids play other sports, which is just like not even possible around here. I think it is possible. Just everyone refuses to do it. I love the fact that they've got football and hockey and lacrosse players. My 9-year-old wants to play all 3. I might move up to Moorhead. I might be working with you following the show on WDAY X Plus.
Let's do it.
So I think it's great that, that he has expanded, and really, the basketball programs have done it too. Like the outstate, the greater Minnesota outstate, whatever you want to call them, they don't mind coming down to the cities. To them, it's different than me growing up 15 minutes from there and saying, I want to leave home. I want to go somewhere else. Yeah. We talk about in-state recruiting all the time. It's not as easy as just, grab the Metro kids and here you go. A lot of them want to go someplace else. Yep. And for someone in Moorhead or Cherry, where Isaac Osmo's from, someplace else is the Metro, and it is getting away for college. So they've really, they've got another kid from down south, Jackson County, that was the number 1 player in Minnesota this year. Like, that was a big deal to get him away from, the Iowas and Wisconsins and Alabama. Everybody that was recruiting him. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be the last time PJ rolls up to Moorhead, to Spud Country, to see what's going on there.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. I hope they roll out the red carpet for you in Indy when you arrive on Thursday night. Have a great call this week, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Anytime, man. Enjoy Sioux Falls.
There he goes, JG. Justin Gaard from KFAN joining us. Gophers will play on Friday. They have the double bye in the Big Ten tournament, so we don't know yet who they're going to play, but a potential. Who knows? We'll see what happens this weekend of the Gophers. Could they play at Williams Arena? We'll see. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up. Get you ready. We got a busy Sports Tuesday on tap. Everybody's playing tonight. We'll get you ready for that one. Hot Mic wraps on WDAY Extra right after this. We're on a busy Tuesday Spectacular. We're back with you tomorrow. Summit League Awards will be out. We'll also get you a deep dive for the girls Class B that starts out in Minot, and a full EDC opening round breakdown as well for the boys and the girls. That's coming up on tomorrow's show. Looking forward to that. Now, all those tournaments I just mentioned have a usual-looking bracket, right? They have 8 teams, and you have 1 versus 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5, right? The Summit League even has a normal-looking bracket where they have an 8-9 play-in winner plays into 1, and 2's playing 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5, right? Well, not every league has gone that traditional route. Some, in fact, have gone even the most bizarre routes you can think of. Our friends at the Horizon League have done something different. Our friends at the Big Sky did something really unique. Nobody has it beat than the West Coast Conference. Now, this is their last go-around as this kind of league with Gonzaga in it. Remember, Gonzaga's leaving to go to the Pac-12 next year. This is their bracket that they have for their basketball tournament, where if you're the 1 or the 2 seed, all you have to do is win 2 games to go to the NCAA tournament. Look at this. I mean, some will say this is a piece of art. Some will say call it something else. The tournament starts tonight. That if you're the 12 seed, if you're Pepperdine, you've got to beat Portland, then beat Washington State, then beat San Francisco, then beat Oregon State, then beat Gonzaga, and then beat the other winner of that. So that's how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. And you go to the NCAA tournament. It's different. I'll say that. I'm not sure how much fair it is, but it's definitely different. Now, and it certainly bakes in an advantage if you're for the top 2. All you got to win is 2 games, and you're going to the dance. Different way of going about it. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. All right, What to Watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. Busy night tonight. Wild are in action. Wolves are in action. Wolves at 7 against the Grizzlies. Wild at 8:30 against the Lightning. That game on TNT for the hockey team. National TV as they've got red-hot Tampa coming to town. Also, late-night men's basketball tonight. Nebraska and UCLA on FS1 at 10 o'clock. As we leave you today, NDSU's newest left tackle benched 400 yesterday. He cleared it. That's Ryan Babbitts from Buffalo, Minnesota. We've had him on the show a couple times. Athletic Unicorn, he's been called. Thanks to our guests today for coming on the show. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.